Islamic State terrorist Salah Abdeslam, who took part in the 2015 Paris terror attacks, has received €500 compensation for illegal terms of detention. He was in a prison cell under permanent surveillance, apparently, something that contradicts European human rights laws. RT Charlotte Dubensky's got more.
Salah Abdeslam, an infamous name and the last remaining member of a group behind the worst terror attack in French history. Just months later, 32 people were killed in coordinated bombings on Brussels' major transport hubs. Abdeslam is now serving a 20-year prison sentence. Yet it's now emerged this self-confessed jihadist has found himself on the right side of the legal system after the French state was forced to pay him €500. Why? Well, during Abdeslam's incarceration here in France, he was subjected to non-stop surveillance. Back in 2016, the then Justice Minister explained why that decision was taken.
I made a ministerial order authorising video surveillance 24 hours a day, and on the basis of this decree, which I took after consultation with the National Commission on Informatics and Liberty, I took an individual decision on Mr Abdeslam to be put under video surveillance.
Even the unions supported the government's position and why that scope of surveillance was justified.
In this case, video surveillance was an effective means of ensuring that the individual did not harm himself and, if needed, stand trial for what he did.
But Abdeslam's lawyers continued to challenge it, and they won. In 2017, the Administrative Court agreed that his detention conditions were illegal. But this information has only just come to light, and it's causing outrage.
The French judiciary has condemned the state to pay €500 to a terrorist who caused the deaths of more than 130 people and left 400 injured on the 13th of November 2015. This is a disgrace.
I'm appalled by the court order to pay €500 to Salah Abdeslam. This legal outrage must be reviewed urgently. This French state owes nothing to Islamist barbarians.
So what do people here in Paris make of this case?
Honestly, I don't think that €500 is a lot. And I also agree with the human rights side of it. But he didn't respect the human rights of the people either.
I believe that when you are creating a crime that is so horrific that perhaps you should just lose all of your entitlements and privileges.
Absolutely not. That's not normal. He committed a crime and now we have to pay him? It's not normal.
It's really amazing that the French government had to pay this 500 fine. But if we are looking at the side of the justice, we've got some rules, we've got some laws, and we need to respect the law.
It's not good at all because he's still a terrorist. It should be the other way. He should be charged and condemned.
Some very diverse opinions on a subject that many people were simply shocked by. It seems, though, that Abdeslam has no intention of taking the money. So far, he's refused it. Charlotte Dubensky, RT, Paris.
We asked our guests about the rights and wrongs of the case, and as it turns out, the issue is not that clear-cut.
The issue around how he was treated by the French authorities is an important issue. Regardless of one's background and regardless of one's, situation in terms of what they've been accused of, the rule of law applies equally.
The Western legal system is much too lenient. There is the same case in Belgium, actually, where they receive compensation because they are in a restricted area within the prison and they get €1 per day. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's not the fact that they receive the €1, it's the fact that the court goes as far as losing time on this issue. I mean, in Middle Eastern countries, there is none of that.
Well, the reality is somewhat different. The people who carried out those terrorist attacks in Paris and in Brussels, some of them have got very serious sentences. They've been given life sentences of 20+ years. We look here in the UK, there's been many terror plots that have been foiled, and the people involved have been given long custodial sentences.
Well, I think that the sentences should be the real sentences that the judge pronounces. If it is 20, 30 years life, it is life. It is 30 years or 20 years. People in the street, okay, they should not get emotional about this, but they don't understand the system. They have the impression that victims are penalized while the justice system defends criminals.
But you've got to take your own emotion out of it and say that the law applies equally to every single citizen. And if the authorities, the police are not above the law in Western societies, and if they've done any particular action which has brought their authority into disrepute, then there should be consequences, and that's what the judge has awarded damages to this individual.